If there is one truth about success, it is this: your future is being prepared by the skills you learn today. Not tomorrow, not next year. Adaptability is no longer just a helpful trait. It has become the foundation of survival and growth in a world that moves faster than anyone can predict. The pace of change today is unlike anything in history. Technology evolves, industries shift, and skills that seemed valuable yesterday can become irrelevant today. In such a world, the people who thrive are not the ones who know the most, but the ones who can adjust the fastest. Adaptability is the quiet engine behind every long-term success story, because it gives you the ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn without fear of starting again. Many people think talent or intelligence is what decides success, but the truth is that adaptability decides the speed at which you grow. It is the difference between people who move forward when life changes and those who stay stuck, because they refuse to change with it. To understand adaptability, you must first accept that the world does not wait for anyone. New tools, new ideas, new methods appear every year. If you cling too tightly to what you already know, you become outdated without realizing it. But if you remain flexible, curious, and open to new ways of doing things, then every change becomes an opportunity instead of a threat. A new challenge becomes a chance to learn something new. A new environment becomes a chance to discover what else you are capable of. People who adapt quickly are not afraid of being beginners again, because they understand that everything great starts with not knowing. They do not let their ego stop them from trying, failing, and improving. Adaptability begins with mindset. Many people resist change because it is uncomfortable. They prefer routine, predictability, and familiarity. But growth has never lived in comfort zones. Growth always starts in places where you feel uncertain, unsure, or unprepared. When life pushes you into situations you don't understand, your mindset determines whether you panic or evolve. A flexible mindset sees the unknown as a classroom. Every challenge becomes a teacher. Every obstacle becomes a lesson. Every failure becomes information. The moment you shift your thinking from "why is this happening to me" to "what can I learn from this?" you begin to develop the adaptability that prepares you for the future. Another part of adaptability is the willingness to learn things outside your current skill set. Many people limit themselves because they only want to learn what they like or what they are already good at. But the world doesn't reward comfort, it rewards capability. When you learn new skills, even the ones that feel difficult or unrelated to your current path, you expand your value. You increase your options. You become someone who can fit into different roles, different industries, and different opportunities. Adaptability is the reason some people are able to switch careers, build businesses, or survive economic changes while others are left behind. It is not because they are smarter, it is because they are more open to learning. In today's world, adaptability also means being comfortable with technology. You don't need to become a technical expert, but you must be willing to use new tools, understand new systems, and embrace digital learning. Many people get stuck because they fear technology, believing it is too complicated or too advanced. But technology is built to help humans, not replace them. If you can adapt to new tools, you increase your speed, efficiency, and opportunities. If you avoid them, you limit your growth. The gap between people who embrace technology and those who avoid it is becoming one of the biggest differences in career success today, and the only way to stay relevant is to stay adaptable. Adaptability is not just about learning new skills. It is also about managing your emotions during change. When things shift suddenly, people often react with fear, frustration, or confusion. But emotional flexibility is a powerful part of adaptability. It allows you to stay calm when things feel chaotic. It keeps your mind clear enough to make good decisions. It helps you accept situations instead of wasting energy resisting them. People who are emotionally flexible recover from failure faster, handle unexpected situations better, and stay focused when pressure rises. They do not break when plans fall apart. They bend and adjust. Another important aspect of adaptability is letting go of old beliefs that no longer serve you. Many people fail to grow because they are loyal to old methods, old routines, or old habits. They try to use yesterday's formula to solve today's problems. But sometimes growth requires unlearning. It requires questioning what you've always believed and being humble enough to admit that there might be a better way. The world does not reward people who stubbornly hold on to outdated thinking. It rewards those who are willing to refresh their ideas, update their approach, and evolve with time. People who adapt well also pay attention to the world around them. They observe trends, understand changes, and notice opportunities that others ignore. They listen to feedback, watch how industries move, and stay aware of the skills that are becoming valuable. Instead of waiting for things to happen, they prepare in advance. They take action earlier, move faster, and position themselves for the future while others stay stuck in the past. Adaptability also strengthens your confidence. Every time you learn something new or overcome a new challenge, you prove to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. This builds a quiet confidence, not the loud kind that boasts, but the strong kind that knows. You begin to trust your ability to adjust, survive, and succeed no matter what happens. This confidence becomes your anchor in a changing world, because you're no longer afraid of uncertainty. In relationships, adaptability makes you easier to work with and easier to trust. People who adapt well cooperate better, communicate better, and solve conflicts faster because they don't insist on having things their way. They listen, understand, and adjust. This makes them valuable teammates, strong leaders, and dependable partners. Opportunities naturally gravitate toward people who are flexible because they make progress smoother and faster. Adaptability is one of the greatest gifts you can give your future self. The world will continue to change, and no one can stop that. But you can prepare for it. You can develop a mindset that welcomes new ideas, a discipline that pursues continuous learning, and an attitude that sees change not as a threat, but as a path to growth. When you become adaptable, life becomes less of a struggle and more of an adventure. Communication is often misunderstood as simply speaking well, but real communication goes far deeper than the words that come out of your mouth. It begins with understanding yourself and extends to understanding others. In every industry, every relationship, every opportunity, communication acts as the bridge that connects people, ideas, and possibilities. When you learn to communicate clearly, confidently, and authentically, you unlock doors that talent alone can never open. Many people work hard, think smart, and even have great ideas. But they struggle because they cannot express those ideas in a way that influences others. The world does not reward silent brilliance. It rewards shared value. Communication is the tool that allows you to share that value with the world. To communicate well, the first skill you must develop is listening. Most people hear words, but they do not listen to the message. They are too busy preparing their reply or defending their position. True listening requires presence and humility. It means stepping out of your own thoughts long enough to understand what the other person is trying to say, what they feel, and why they feel it. When you listen in this way, people trust you more because they feel seen and understood. Trust is the foundation of all meaningful relationships, whether in business, friendship, or leadership, and trust begins with listening. The better you listen, the better you speak, because your words become responses rather than reactions. Another important part of communication is clarity. Many people complicate their message because they think complexity makes them sound smarter. In reality, simplicity is what makes communication effective. If your message is easy to understand, it becomes easy to remember. If it is easy to remember, it becomes easy to act on. Clarity does not mean speaking less. It means saying what truly matters. When you speak with clarity, people do not waste time guessing your meaning. They know exactly what you stand for, what you expect, and what you want to achieve. Clarity brings direction, reduces conflict, and increases productivity. In any team, organization, or relationship, most problems do not come from lack of effort, they come from lack of clear communication. Confidence is another core part of strong communication, but confidence is often misunderstood. It is not loudness, arrogance, or trying to dominate the conversation. Real confidence comes from knowing your message, believing in your message, and sharing it with calm conviction. People trust confidence because it signals clarity and competence. When you speak with confidence, others are more likely to listen, follow, and support your vision. Confidence is not something you are born with. It is something you build by practicing communication in real situations. Every conversation makes you stronger. Every presentation makes you clearer. Every mistake teaches you what to improve. Confidence grows with action, not theory. Another powerful part of communication is empathy, the ability to understand how your message affects others. Communication is not just about expressing yourself. It is also about adjusting your approach based on the person in front of you. Different people understand things in different ways. Some respond to emotion, others to logic, others to examples, and others to direction. When you communicate the same message in different ways, depending on who is listening, you become far more effective. Empathy allows you to connect with people on a human level, making your words not just heard but felt. When people feel understood, they are more willing to cooperate, collaborate, and trust your intentions. Communication also plays a major role in leadership. A leader who cannot communicate cannot lead. Leadership is not about giving orders. It is about inspiring belief. It is about painting a picture of the future so clearly that people want to walk toward it with you. A leader uses communication to align people, motivate them, resolve conflicts, and build unity. Leaders who communicate well create cultures where people feel valued, informed, and empowered. Leaders who communicate poorly create confusion, frustration, and fear. The future belongs to leaders who know how to guide people through words that encourage, uplift, and clarify. Another important dimension of communication is body language. Your posture, gestures, eye contact, and facial expressions often say more than your words. People can feel your confidence, sincerity, frustration, or doubt before you even speak. When your words and body language align, people trust you. When they do not align, people question you. Learning to control your presence, how you walk into a room, how you hold yourself, how you maintain eye contact, can elevate your communication even without saying a word. Strong body language makes your words stronger. Weak body language makes even strong words seem uncertain. Communication is also essential for solving conflicts. Most conflicts grow not because the problem is big, but because communication is poor. People misunderstand each other, assume the worst, or react emotionally instead of patiently. When you learn to communicate calmly during conflict, you turn arguments into understanding and tension into solutions. You learn to separate the problem from the person. You learn to lower your voice when others raise theirs. You learn to focus on finding solutions rather than proving yourself right. These skills make you a valuable person in any environment because peaceful problem solvers are rare and needed everywhere. In the professional world, communication determines how far your career will go. You may have technical skills, experience, or qualifications, but if you cannot communicate your ideas, collaborate with others, or present your value, you limit your own potential. The most successful people are not always the best performers. They are often the best communicators. They understand how to persuade, negotiate, and explain. They know how to make people believe in a project, buy into an idea, or support a decision. Communication shapes perception. Perception shapes opportunity. Opportunity shapes success. Communication also influences your personal life. Relationships grow or collapse based on communication. A family becomes stronger when communication is open and honest. Friendships deepen when communication is consistent and genuine. Misunderstandings fade when people talk with patience instead of pride. Communication teaches you how to express your feelings without hurting others, and how to understand others without judging them. It teaches you how to apologize when necessary, how to appreciate people sincerely, and how to handle sensitive conversations with respect. Strong communication creates harmony, and harmony creates happiness. In a world full of noise, effective communication is becoming more valuable than ever. People are distracted, overwhelmed, and often disconnected. If you can communicate with clarity, empathy, and confidence, you stand out immediately. You become someone people remember, respect, and rely on. You become someone who can influence, inspire, and impact. Communication is the skill that turns your ideas into action, your thoughts into connection, and your value into opportunities. Self-management is one of the most underestimated but most powerful skills a person can develop because it silently shapes everything you do. Your decisions, your habits, your discipline, your emotions, your focus, your time, your consistency. Many people have big dreams, strong desires, and even great talent, but they struggle because they cannot manage themselves long enough to turn those dreams into reality. The greatest battles in life are not fought with the world. They are fought within your own mind. Your ability to control your actions when no one is watching, to stay disciplined when no one is forcing you, and to choose long-term growth over short-term comfort determines the direction of your life more than any external factor. Self-management is the invisible line between intention and achievement. The first part of self-management is understanding your own habits. Most people live on autopilot without realizing how their small daily choices shape their life. They repeat routines not because they are helpful, but because they are familiar. They waste hours scrolling, procrastinating, or being distracted, and then wonder why they feel stuck. Self-management begins when you become aware of how you spend your time and why you choose the things you do. Once you recognize your habits, you gain the power to change them. You realize that success is built on consistent behaviors, not occasional effort. A person who improves just 1% every day becomes unrecognizable in a year, while someone who wastes time every day remains exactly where they started. Another essential part of self-management is discipline. Discipline is not about perfection or forcing yourself to work harder than everyone else. It is about keeping promises you make to yourself. It is about choosing what you truly want in the long run instead of what feels good in the moment. People often wait for motivation, thinking they need inspiration before taking action, but motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the weather. Discipline is what stays. Discipline is the ability to act even when you are tired, even when you are bored, even when you do not feel like it. It is showing up again and again until your habits become part of your identity. When you have discipline, you do not depend on emotion to take action. You depend on commitment. Self-management also requires emotional control. Life will test you with stress, disappointment, failure, criticism, and uncertainty. If you let emotions control you, you make poor decisions, react impulsively, and waste energy on things you cannot change. Emotional control does not mean suppressing your feelings. It means understanding them, observing them, and choosing your response instead of being controlled by your reaction. People who manage their emotions think clearly under pressure, communicate calmly during conflict, and stay focused even in chaos. They do not let anger ruin opportunities or fear prevent progress. They use logic and clarity even in difficult situations, which makes them reliable and steady in the eyes of others. Another part of self-management is the ability to set priorities. Many people stay busy without being productive. They spend their days putting out small fires, handling distractions, and doing low-value tasks that make them feel active but do not move them forward. Real productivity comes from focusing on what truly matters, not what is urgent or convenient. Prioritization is the difference between someone who works all day but achieves little and someone who works smart and achieves a lot. When you prioritize well, you stop letting distractions control your time. You start choosing growth over noise, progress over comfort, and results over excuses. Managing your environment is another key element of self-management. Your environment influences your behavior more than you realize. If your surroundings are full of distractions, negativity, or people who drain your energy, it becomes harder to stay disciplined and focused. Successful people design their environment to support their goals. They limit temptations, reduce unnecessary noise, and spend time with people who push them to grow rather than pull them down. When your environment encourages productivity and positivity, self-management becomes easier. You rise simply because everything around you is aligned with the person you want to become. Time management is also a major part of self-management. Many people underestimate how much time they waste because they never measure it. They think they don't have enough hours in the day, but the truth is that they do not use their hours intentionally. Time is the one resource that everyone receives equally, but only a few use it wisely. If you treat time with respect, it rewards you with progress. If you waste it, you fall behind. Time management is not about filling your day with endless tasks. It is about using your time to build the life you want. It is about planning, scheduling, and staying consistent, even when routines become repetitive. Self-management also includes the ability to delay gratification. In a world where everything is fast entertainment, fast communication, fast pleasure, patience is becoming rare. People expect instant results, and when they don't see progress quickly, they quit. But meaningful success takes time. Whether you want to build a business, improve your skills, strengthen your health, or grow financially, you must be willing to work without immediate reward. Delayed gratification is the ability to say no to small pleasures now so you can say yes to bigger rewards later. The people who master this skill rise above those who give up early or get distracted by short-term comfort. Another important part of self Management is the ability to take responsibility. Many people fail because they blame circumstances, luck, other people, or their environment. They look for excuses instead of solutions. Self-management means owning your decisions, your actions, and your results. When you take responsibility, you gain control over your life. You stop waiting for someone else to change your situation and start taking action yourself. Responsibility is empowering because it places your future in your own hands. Self-management also requires consistency. Anyone can work hard for a day. Anyone can show discipline for a week. But real success comes from consistency over months and years. Consistency is built through routine, structure, and commitment. It is built by doing the small, important things every day, even when progress is invisible. Consistency creates momentum, and momentum creates breakthroughs. When you are consistent, you move forward slowly at first, but eventually your growth becomes unstoppable. Finally, self-management requires self-awareness. You must understand your strengths, weaknesses, triggers, patterns, and motivations. You must be honest with yourself about the things that hold you back and the habits that push you forward. Self-awareness is the foundation of improvement because you cannot change what you refuse to acknowledge. The more you understand yourself, the easier it becomes to manage your behavior, set the right goals, and build a life aligned with your values. People skills are often described as soft skills, but in reality, they are some of the strongest skills a person can develop. Your ability to interact with people, understand them, influence them, work with them, and build meaningful relationships determines more opportunities in life than your qualifications or intelligence. Success is not built in isolation. No matter how talented you are, you will need others, partners, mentors, teammates, supporters, customers, friends. People skills shape how the world responds to you. They decide whether doors open or remain closed. When you learn how to connect with people in a genuine and respectful way, you gain a long-term advantage that machines, degrees, or technical skills cannot replace. The first part of people skills is understanding that every person sees the world differently. People come from different backgrounds, experiences, strengths, fears, and perspectives. If you expect everyone to think like you, react like you, or behave like you, you will constantly face frustration. But when you accept that people are different and learn to appreciate those differences, communication becomes easier. You begin to listen not just to reply, but to understand. You learn to speak in a way the other person can receive. You reduce unnecessary conflicts because you realize most disagreements come from misunderstanding, not malice. People skills start with acceptance and respect for differences. Another important part of people skills is emotional intelligence. This means being aware of your own emotions and the emotions of others. When you understand how people feel, you can communicate in a way that calms tension instead of increasing it. You can motivate without forcing, influence without manipulating, and correct without hurting. Emotional intelligence helps you read situations, sense unspoken problems, and respond wisely. People trust those who make them feel understood. They avoid those who make them feel judged. If you can make people feel safe, respected, and valued, they will naturally want to work with you and support you. Trust is the most important currency in human relationships. You can have skills, talent, experience, and ambition, but if people do not trust you, they will not follow you, work with you, or recommend you. Trust is built through consistency. Your words must match your actions. Trust grows when people know you keep your promises, respect confidentiality, and treat others fairly even when no one is watching. A trustworthy person becomes a magnet for opportunities because people feel secure around them. Trust also grows when you admit your mistakes instead of hiding them. when you listen to feedback, and when you treat everyone regardless of status with the same level of respect. Empathy is another powerful people skill. Many people listen to others only to respond, debate, or prove a point. But empathy means stepping into another person's experience and trying to feel what they feel. When you are empathetic, your words become kinder, your reactions become wiser, and your relationships become deeper. You become someone people confide in. You become someone people look to for comfort or clarity. Empathy prevents you from reacting with anger when patience is needed. It helps you support others when they struggle and celebrate them when they succeed. People never forget the ones who made them feel understood. Effective communication is also a major part of people skills. Knowing how to express your thoughts clearly, listen actively, ask questions, and maintain meaningful conversations builds strong connections. People remember how you made them feel more than the exact words you said. The tone you use, the attention you give, and the respect you show all shape how people perceive you. Communication is not about talking more. It is about talking wisely. Sometimes the most powerful communication is silence when someone needs space, or encouragement when someone needs confidence, or clarity when someone feels lost. Conflict resolution is another essential people skill. No matter how skilled or kind you are, conflicts are unavoidable because people see things differently. But how you handle conflict determines whether relationships strengthen or break. People with strong people skills do not run from conflict or fight aggressively. They solve it. They focus on the issue, not the person. They listen without interrupting, respond without attacking, and find solutions that create mutual respect. They understand that winning an argument but losing a relationship is a form of failure. True strength is staying calm when others are emotional and bringing peace when others bring tension. Another part of people skills is the ability to collaborate. Working with others means sharing ideas, compromising, and respecting differences. People with poor people skills struggle in teams because they want control, refuse to listen, or assume they know better. But those with strong people skills understand that combining strengths creates better results. They contribute without overshadowing. They help others without expecting praise. They give credit generously. Collaboration makes you someone people want on their team, and that reputation opens opportunities you could never find alone. Humility is also a powerful people skill. Humility does not mean thinking less of yourself. It means thinking realistically, staying grounded, and understanding that you can always learn from others. Humble people attract respect because they treat everyone kindly, regardless of position or status. They do not brag about their achievements. They let their actions speak. They ask questions freely because they are not afraid of appearing inexperienced. Humility makes you approachable, and approachability makes you memorable in the best way. Another key element of people skills is appreciation. When you recognize people's efforts, compliment their strengths, and show gratitude for their support, relationships grow naturally. People want to stay close to those who acknowledge their value. Appreciation does not require money or grand gestures. Simple words like "thank you," "I appreciate your help," or "you did well," can strengthen bonds more than you imagine. Appreciation is a powerful force because it makes people feel seen, and everyone wants to feel seen. Charisma is another aspect of people skills, but it is often misunderstood. Charisma is not charm, clever jokes, or dramatic personality. Real charisma comes from authenticity, confidence, warmth, and genuine interest in others. When you are fully present with people, look them in the eye and speak with sincerity, you naturally become charismatic. People gravitate toward those who make them feel important, inspired, and energized. Charisma is not something you are born with. It is something you develop through kindness, confidence, and presence. People skills also shape your professional success. The most successful people in business, entrepreneurs, leaders, innovators, are great with people. They know how to negotiate deals, build partnerships, motivate teams, and earn loyalty. Technical skills may give you a job, but people skills help you grow, lead, and build something meaningful. A person who can understand, inspire, and connect with others will always be more powerful than someone who only knows how to complete tasks. People skills matter just as much in personal life. Families grow stronger when communication is open and respectful. Friendships deepen when trust and empathy are present. Romantic relationships thrive when both people listen, support, and appreciate each other. Many relationship problems do not come from lack of love, but from lack of people skills, poor communication, impatience, ego, or misunderstanding. When you improve your people skills, you improve the quality of every relationship in your life. People skills are also important when dealing with criticism. Some people take criticism personally and react emotionally. Others avoid feedback because it makes them uncomfortable. But people with strong people skills listen calmly, consider the feedback, and improve themselves. They understand that criticism is not always an attack. Sometimes it is a gift. They separate the message from the emotion and grow wiser because of it. Ultimately, people skills determine how others experience you. They decide whether you are remembered positively or negatively, whether people trust you or avoid you, whether opportunities come to you or pass you by. When you develop strong people skills, you become someone who can navigate different personalities, environments, and challenges with ease. You become someone who communicates with respect, influences with integrity, and connects with sincerity.